I think we all know weapons and zombies can go from like bad, maybe mid, to just absolute S tier. It's kind of insane how some weapons can do that. This video is all about those weapons that go from kind of mid, bad, all the way to S tier. One of these weapons on this list really shouldn't be here, but I couldn't think of anything else. And someone said that it has a 10 times headshot multiplier. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll put it on this list. So if you're wondering what the criteria is for this list, what allows the weapons to actually be on this list? So 1, does the weapon get a huge damage buff when it's pack-a-punched? And 2, does the weapon have an effect that can just be super helpful on whatever round you're on? Now, I'm not saying the weapons have to go under both of those criteria or categories. None of these weapons on this list actually go under either one of those. But I just wanted to have a good criteria set for what makes a weapon absolute god tier when it's pack-a-punched. Now, if you do want to participate in any of my videos, like what I should do next, make sure you look out for my community posts because I'm posting every few days to get your guys' opinion of what I should do next because I kind of have a hard time figuring out what to do next. And thanks to this viewer on screen now for suggesting this idea. And I think that's it. Without further ado, let's move on to the list. Now, the first weapon I have up on this list really depends on 2 words. Have friends. That's the biggest problem with this thing. Because when you pack it, it's actually kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. So the Ballistic Knife, when you pack it and you shoot it down a teammate, they will get revived. That's kind of it for this. It's really simple, but if you're going for high rounds and your teammate is down on like around 100 or something, I don't know why you'd go for that high of a round on co-op, but there's those people and there's just so many zombies, you just shoot them and they're up. And that's kind of it. I mean, what else am I gonna say? It's not really that strong as a weapon on its own, but when paired with reviving your teammate, it becomes one of the best weapons if you're considering it for high rounding because it's so helpful for reviving your teammates. Now, next we have the Barrett. Now, before you're gonna say that, oh, this thing sucks, too much recoil, no ammo, no damage. Hear me out real quick. When you pack this thing, we know that it does not have much ammo. It kind of has some recoil, but you know that it's manageable. It's not like when it's unpacked, it goes straight up the fucking skybox. When you pack this, believe it or not, it is a one-shot all the way until round 38 in the head if you have double tap. There's only one other weapon, I believe, on this game that is capable of doing that is not a wonder weapon. If you're gonna say that this thing is bad, I don't know what to say to you, man. This thing one-shots till round 38. How can you argue this thing is bad? It's really not. If you know how to use it right, it's great. Now, you can't argue it has no ammo. I'll accept that. It has none, but the damage, man. Shit! I did just make it sound like I was only going over BO2 weapons, so my bad about that, but this is a Cross World at War 2 BO3. Don't know if I said that. But now we have the Crossbow. This obviously does not go under the huge damage buff category. It goes under the effect category. Now, if you don't know what this is, when you pack it, the arrows you shoot become monkey bombs, which is one of the best things to have when you're going for high rounds. I don't believe many people use it on high rounds on like Kino. I know people use it on a 5, but for the people that actually use it on high rounds on 5, I think that's it. I don't know if any other maps actually use the Crossbow for high rounds, but you can use this thing on any round. No matter what round it is, it will still be effective because of that monkey bomb effect. It has enough ammo for you to actually get out of corners unless, you know, you have low ammo already. Now, the only downside I would say to this thing is that not all the time it will actually work. Sometimes the zombies will actually not even go towards the arrow like they're supposed to and just down you for whatever reason. But if this thing actually works, it's one of the best weapons you could ever have because it'll get you out of any situation no matter what it is, unless it's a boss zombie, because boss zombies, I believe, don't actually get affected by the monkey bomb effect. And next we have the DSR. I believe this is the highest damage per bullet weapon in BO2. Could be wrong, but if you're on town, this thing will one-shot all the way into around 40 if you're killing the fire zombies, or I guess the zombies are on fire, not so much fire zombies. But if it's not the fire zombies, then it is the normal zombies that will be all the way into around 39. Either way, around 39, around 40, one-shot all the way until that time. That's absolutely insane. And on top of that, you can also have iron sights on this thing, which makes it even easier to use. It has so much ammo, has like, I believe 104 shots, could be wrong about that, but that is a lot of shots for a bolt action sniper. You won't really be running out of ammo until you get to the point where it's two-shotting. So it's an absolutely insane weapon to have if you're going on town, nuke town, any maps that don't really have a main wonder weapon, if you're not counting the Mark II or the ray gun. It's an awesome choice. Now it's the Executioner. If I was including the non-PAP versions of weapons on this list as well, because I'm really just including the PAP versions, I'm not really talking about the non-PAP versions, this would honestly be a terrible choice. When you pack this thing, it becomes a one-shot until round 33, and it's a pistol. It makes sense why it one-shots till that long, because it's technically a shotgun pistol, so the bullet, I believe, spreads and it does a whole bunch more damage per shot. Now, the only issue with this thing I find is that even when you pack it, which I know it makes sense, it only has 5 shots until you have to reload. I mean, it's a pistol. I don't know if you class it as like a revolver. I don't really know what you classify this thing as. One good thing I will say though, when you pop this, is the reloading animation actually becomes faster. So if you get speed cola and you pop this thing, it will reload very, very quickly. And I also do find myself kind of running out of ammo relatively quickly with this thing. When I'm past that one-shotting point, you can't really use it after it stops one-shotting because it's so bad. But still, goes from kind of a bad pistol to literally a pistol that one-shots all the way to around 33. I believe this is like one of the strongest pistols in COD Zombies. It might even be the strongest if we're talking about damage per shot. Now it's time for the weapon that I really didn't want to include on this list, but a viewer said it has a 10 times headshot multiplier. This is going to be the car. Now, if we're talking about weapons that give the biggest improvements, I believe this, technically speaking, has the biggest improvement on this list. Since there's no double tap on World at War, it goes from like, I believe, a 2-shot in the head on like round 3 or 4, and when you pack it, it becomes a 1-shot to the head all the way until round 22. Technically speaking, that is like the biggest jump for every weapon on this list. Could be wrong, but it sounds correct. Now, I would never recommend going for this and packing it because there's so many other better weapons, and the car just does not feel right. It feels like the iron sights are off, and it just isn't really consistent. But since it has such a huge upgrade when you pack it, I feel like it should go on this list. This just has to go on this list. The KRM. It really doesn't have a huge damage buff. It doesn't really fit on this list if we're talking about the criteria I set. But it's on the wall. You shoot really freaking fast. You reload really, really fast. And if you're on DE, this is what's going to kill the Panzers on higher rounds. It's on the wall. It's just perfect. And when you're on high round, you're putting so much damage into those Panzers that it's just so amazing to have this weapon. It may not be the strongest on this list. It may not have the biggest improvement, but I believe high rounds really wouldn't be a thing if the KRM didn't exist. Yes, you have the Brecci. Yes, you have the Haymaker, but those are out of the box. And once you run out of ammo with those things, that's kind of it. And the KRM's on the wall, as I said. It's so good. Now, I know everyone expects this to be on this list. The M1911. This goes from literally the worst weapon in almost every single game to one of the best weapons if we're not talking about Black Ops 3, that is. It goes from a weapon that I believe does less damage than the knife. Yes, I know it does less damage than the knife. Don't even correct me. I know it does. There's hardly anything that ever competes with this if we're not talking about wonder weapons because it is so good. And if we're talking about the best version, which is on Black Ops 1 with PhD, you are not going to die with this thing all the way up into the 50s. It won't happen. If you have ammo with this thing and you spam the ground and you're trapped in a corner, you're going to make it out if you're on 50 and below. It's just too good of a weapon. If I didn't include this weapon on this list, some people would get really angry at me. This is the Mauser. Just like the M1911, you know, it's literally the worst weapon in the game because it's a starting pistol. But when you pack it, it literally becomes like a mini ray gun Mark II. It's so good. Really good against the Panzers. I know I didn't say speedrunning, Easter eggs, and all that is criteria for this, but it's also really, really helpful for getting around the map, speedrunning and all that stuff. And overall, it's just amazing. You can get it out of the ground, not the packed version, but you can dig up the Mauser. And if I remember right, and even one of my viewers said this, and I think it's only on BO2, when you have the packed Mauser and you're nearly out of ammo with it, and you dig up a Mauser from the ground, I think you actually get ammo back in the packed version from the one you dig up. That could be wrong, but from what I know, that used to be a thing. Unless they patch it or something, I don't know. But the biggest flaw with this is its ammo. If it had like 300 shots rather than I think the 200 or the 150 it has, it would just be so much better. But the ammo is the only thing that really holds this thing back. That's kind of it. Everything else is just flawless. Now we're on our final weapon for this list. Our 10th weapon already. Kind of went quick, not gonna lie. Now we have the SVU. This is the weakest sniper on this list. It's one of like the 4 snipers I think from BO2. The majority of this list is BO2 weapons technically, but the SVU has to be on this list. It might not be the highest damage sniper on this list. I mean, it's still one shots all the way to around 37. That's right behind the Barrett, which is around 38, and then Barrett's behind the DSR, which is 39. They kind of like go up around for each one. Now the SVU I feel like is so much better than the Barrett and the DSR combined, I feel like. Now if you're wondering why, the SVU has over 200 shots. It's a semi-auto sniper, so already it's way better than both of the snipers because it has double the ammo of the DSR, and it has like quadruple the amount of ammo than the Barrett. It's also on the wall. Amazing. Fantastic. One shot's to around 37. In the head. Amazing. You can honestly get all the way up to around 40 with this thing because you can spam it. Has 12 shots in a mag, over 200 shots in total. It's on the wall. What else can I say? It's just too good. And it's unburied. So if you have Vulture and you're getting cornered, you can go in the green mist and the zombies will go away. It's just too good. Nothing can really compete with this if we're talking about wall weapons. Alright, that has been the list. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. Next video is probably going to be a Pack-a-Punch video. If you don't want to see that, let me know. And I'm obviously going to make a top 10 worst glow up weapons, or I guess top 10 worst upgrade weapons. I guess. I don't know how I'm going to title it yet. That video is going to be really easy to make because there's a lot of terrible weapons that have god-awful upgrades. But if you guys have any really good ideas, or just any ideas in general, comment them down. I'll screenshot them if I think that they can be turned into a video or not. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.